Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Mr. Hicks Podcast. We're here getting it in once again, time and time again. I'm joined by young Mr. Hicks, Marcus Hicks, and we're here to break down these college football games, wrap it up from a fun weekend to which we almost had the trifecta of losing. We love that. I love the focus on those upsets and losing games and people, those what the hell, how did you lose these games, which we will do. Mm-hmm. But who is the one that we relate with? Clemson. Clemson managed to beat Syracuse and pull it out. We're going to start with that one because I was wondering how Syracuse was doing it. Like, they both came into this game undefeated, and no one was
Syracuse, whose coach was on the hot seat before this season.
He was,
and we were all wondering, who was going to fill that job if he gets fired, blah, blah, blah. And, he came out and he's had just about he had an undefeated season up to this point and almost beat Clemson, so they're having a great season.
Yeah, so big up to the quarterback, Schrader, who started out 18 of 26. He only had 176 passing yards, a touch, and an interception, but he was killing it on the ground. Like, the whole game, he was absolutely gashing Clemson's very good defense. And he went for 21 for 71 yards and a touchdown also on the ground. They were doing that read option to the front side, and then he was just taking off to the backside.
Yeah, Clemson could not stop that quarterback run.
They really couldn't. They really couldn't. And they made a halftime adjustment, but the big story of this game was just DJU got benched, and he honestly deserved it.
What was he stinking it up?
Oh, God. I mean, so 13 of 21 for 138 yards and 2 interceptions. That sounds like something a bad JV wing T quarterback does in high school.
I think he had a fumble in there too.
Yeah, and lost a fumble. And then when he almost lost the second one, when he put the ball on the ground again,
man.
And not only there was like nothing around him.
No,
it was like he's never done this before. Like, the thing that concerns me about him is that he looks like this is foreign. Like his brother plays defensive end, so I'm like, maybe there's still some hope for him.
Maybe.
I don't, probably not, but
who knows? Tight end, who knows?
Yeah, but the fact, when he almost fumbled the second time, he did fumble the second time, and his teammates picked it up. You could see Klubnik was just off the bench. It was like, oh yeah, they're definitely benching him now.
Yeah,
and which they did. And here the thing is, all Klubnik did was hand the ball off to Shipley, and I'm like, you could have had DJ do that. What was the point of bringing in another guy?
Well, DJ would have fumbled it and thrown another pick. He was really stinking it up. You couldn't leave him in there to have that bad of a performance.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Will Shipley did the damn thing. Will Shipley was 27 of 107 for 172 yards and 2 scores on the ground, and then the other tailback, Maffa, 18 for 94 and a touchdown on the ground. So good for them for pulling it out.
Yeah.
DJ, and the thing that gets me is that first thing he said that Dabo said, somebody stuck a microphone in his mouth, was, DJ's our guy.
And the thing is, like, during the game, a lot of commentators were like, oh man, Dabo really had some stones for pulling out DJ. I don't see it. I don't think so. If you left DJ in, I think he started writing on the wall. If you left DJ in that game, they were going to lose that football game. Mm-hmm. And it would have probably been by at least a touchdown, because it's like when in a basketball game, when guys are missing a lot of shots, and they're like, oh, all I got to do is keep shooting and get out of it. It's just like, and
or as we like to call it in this house, a Westbrook.
Yes. You're like, I'm going to just keep going. They smacks it off the side of the backboard. Like, get him out of here.
You got to pull him.
And so they put in Klubnik, and DJ's first, and Dabo's first thing he said was it doesn't matter. Despite DJ absolutely sucking today, and Klubnik, I mean, he didn't do much.
Didn't do anything, but what he didn't do is he didn't throw interceptions.
He didn't suck. Everybody was like, oh, this guy doesn't suck. Let's put him in there. Absolutely not. Okay?
That's the standard right now. This guy does not turn the ball over and suck and embarrass us in front of our home fans to Syracuse.
Yeah.
They rushed the field.
Yeah.
They rushed the field beating Syracuse.
It's the type of season they're having right now. You know, that's kind of where they're at.
They're undefeated, and they were so excited, bated breath that they were going to lose to Syracuse that they stormed the field.
Yeah.
That is, you know who never storms the field?
Bama.
Bama. You know why? Bama. You know why? Because who would Bama fans be that excited about beating? No, nobody. That just goes to show, like, man, for a program that is supposed to be of this caliber, for their fans to even be in that mindset, I'm just like, that is wild to me. So let's hit up this Duke game. So Duke. Yeah. So
okay.
For those of you who don't know,
Miami turned the ball a whopping 8 times. You heard that right. 8 times, 5 fumbles and 3 interceptions.
And that's how Duke beats Miami 45-21.
And you would have thought 45 points. Man, Duke's offense must have been amazing. Not at all. I would call Duke's offensive performance pedestrian, but that would be an insult to the word pedestrian.
All walkers everywhere would be like, what you talking about?
Yeah. Duke's quarterback had 13 completions for 136 yards and a touchdown. Their leading rusher had 60 yards, and their leading receiver had 40 yards. So that's worse than pedestrian, actually. That's absolutely that's bad.
That's a JV offense.
And they put up 45 points.
Oh God, that's like when people talk about how important the turnover battle is. Usually, you don't have to see that it's important by like seeing 8 turnovers.
Yeah,
but it's just amazing how. Okay, so like Miami was slightly behind in total yards. So like Duke had 336 to Miami's 327. Duke somehow compiled 200 rushing yards. I don't know. This looks backwards to me.
Yeah.
It's like this doesn't look like this seems to make no sense.
Right.
But the turnovers, penalties, Duke had more penalties. Duke had a little more time possession, but 8 turnovers will do it to anybody.
Yeah.
And
I haven't seen a football game where both teams
had a combined
8 turnovers. I was like, man, this is the slappiest game of football I've ever watched. But I didn't watch the Miami game because why would I?
Why should you?
Yeah.
You had to look on the crawler while you were watching another game and see that and go, what?
Like, man, Miami's getting waxed.
Like what? How is possible? Like what to do at home?
Yeah.
You got beat by the nerds at home. This is like a dude acing a test. Having the kid who's got like graduating top of his class, graduating and getting a 1,600 on his SATs, and comes over your house and punches you in the face and bangs your sister.
Yeah,
like that's what this felt
and
like.
And Miami is just so undisciplined. But I mean, what's new? You know, like I want you to think really hard. When was the last time that you watched Miami football? I mean. Not that part. When was the last time that you watched Miami football and were like, man, this team is a very disciplined, well-coached team? It's never happened,
no,
okay?
I've been watching Miami football for a long time and for college football, and I can tell you that was never the thing.
Exactly.
They're really fast. They're amazingly athletic. They're really they have a lot of depth. They're well coached. Look at how great they are on defense. A lot of sacks, stuff like that. Look at those interceptions. But not one time have I ever said, look at the discipline and execution from the Miami Hurricanes. I've never said that. Not one time.
And now they are without the talent, and it's bad because they're without the coaching and the talent, and now they're getting blown out by Duke. It's not so hot out here.
Woo. Okay, so moving along to Texas A&M, South Carolina. The fact that this was even worth talking about is amazing.
Yeah.
The fact that Texas A&M is right now 3-4. They are good to lose 4 games a year. Period.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what they do. And for Jimbo Fisher to got an extension, and not only did he get an extension, he got the Kirk Cousins. You know what the Kirk Cousin is?
Being wildly overpaid or getting it all guaranteed.
There you go. Both of those things. I knew I could count on you. Wildly overpaid and a fully guaranteed contract. That means that no matter how bad he is right now, if you were to try to fire Jimbo Fisher, you would owe that man $85 million. $85 million. Now, look, there's a lot of money floating around in that program. Now, I don't think you got anybody got 85 couch cushions, of money floating around in their couch cushions, unless your name was like Elon Musk or like Jeff Bezos. That's a lot of scratch. And like, first of all, it's too much to pay him to coach.
Yeah.
It's way too much to pay him to not coach. That is way too much. So this was really incredible in that just how Jimbo Fisher is an offensive coach. That's what he was brought there for. And then they're going to go like, oh, well, you need to get a new offensive coordinator. Why? Jimbo is the problem. He is his offense. So if you bring in another offensive coordinator to do what? To call the same plays in an offense that he's not? That don't make any sense. So like Haynes King never really thought he was that dude, and he is proving to be not that dude.
He got benched.
Yeah, he got benched. He was 17 for 32 for 178 yards and 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Yeah. And then Connor Wegman, who they're very high on, and was part of that really good freshman class. But we'll get to that in a second. So that was he was 8 for 15 for 91 yards. Spencer Rattler
sucked.
Yeah.
He sucked.
Yeah.
He's not that guy. He never was that guy, actually.
Yeah. Well, in high school, he talked like he was that guy.
Yeah.
That show that he did, what was that? Was that like a
QB1 on Netflix?
It was on Netflix?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That was the height of his football career, really.
Yeah.
It was as good as it got for Spencer Rattler.
And then he got getting benched at Oklahoma, and it's not like it's so hard for him in South Carolina. They just don't have anybody good enough to put in, at South Carolina. Otherwise, he would be.
No, and I mean Texas A&M won in every statistical category just about. They total offense, passing yards, rushing yards. Of course, they had more penalties. They had more time possession, equal turnovers. It came down to a touchdown at the end or a couple field goals. I think it was basically one field goal to 2 field goals, and for all the talent in the state of Texas. Yeah. For Texas to be erratic and Texas A&M to also be erratic.
And it's not about Texas A&M. With Texas A&M, it's not that they don't get the talent.
Yeah.
They just can't use it.
Yeah. Like the fact, okay, so let's get into that. So Texas A&M got the #1 recruiting class in the country. They threw more bags around than a luggage handler at an airport. They just threw money around and had no problem telling people about it. And so before the game, 3 of those, recruits that they brought in decided to smoke some weed, have some sex. And the first time I'm ever calling it have some sex. I've never in the history of my life have I ever called it.
Might as well having relations at this point.
Decided to engage in intercourse in the locker room, smoke weed, and have sex with some girls before the game.
Wow. Before
the game. Look, not after the game. I mean, it was. I don't know which is worse. Doing it before the game as a freshman who probably wasn't going to play that game. I don't know. I mean, they probably dressed for a home game. Right. But and then or to do it after the game after you lost to South Carolina. I guess before is better.
I think after is better though.
Yeah, but if you did it after your team lost, wouldn't that be worse?
Yeah, but what am I gonna stop her from having relations with me? Get this. Ma'am,
that is also true.
Ma'am, we lost the game.
Please, I'm so sad about this loss to South Carolina. I'm going to need for you to control yourself.
I can't. Get off of me.
I just can't. But that's what's going on in Texas A&M right now. Like they got suspended. Now, mind you, I'm talking about. So Devin Harris is a defensive back, 5-star defensive back. He was the number 23 recruit overall in this class. Then you had a 6'3", 205-pound wide receiver, Chris Harris, is also a 5-star recruit. And then a offensive tackle is PJ Williams, 4-star offensive lineman. Yeah. So they just gone, suspended indefinitely. I'm like, I just don't know that. I don't know if you can bring them back. I'm like, you can do it, but I'm like, oof. I think this says a whole lot about your program if you bring these dudes back. I mean, sometimes maybe you just brought in a bunch of dudes. You brought in a lot of talent. You didn't really think about the credit, the character You just wanted to make a big splash with the NIL money and all that, which they did. But now you're not winning.
We're talking about SEC football, though, so
Yeah,
they're not doing a whole lot of background checks.
yeah. So it's like so the smoking weed and fornicating is college football. I mean, we don't really, even the whole getting down in the locker room. I'm not terribly surprised at that. I'm just surprised about doing it before the game, on game day, Can you imagine being the guy that caught that? And, like, how did that even get out? Because if an assistant coach caught that, I'm not telling anybody. That is definitely not getting out into the media.
Right.
So we are, what game are we on right now? So we did Miami, Texas, Oklahoma, like just the gift that keeps on giving. Like just like you can just count on Texas up and down. Pause.
They're just
Texas. Texas is just not gonna let you down, boy. They're gonna find a way.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, they're not gonna let you down. They are going to let you down.
Every year, every season.
It's just a matter of when. It's like Texas is going to let you down. And but the surprising thing about how was basically that Quinn Ewing was awful.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he was so great against Oklahoma that I'm just like, was Oklahoma that bad or was Quinn Ewers that good? I think it was like a combination of both. Because Quinn Ewers has not been great since then. Like, he wasn't great the game after.
When they barely skated by, who was it?
Is it Kansas State?
I think so.
I think it was Kansas State, and then they also now losing this game.
No, it was Iowa State that they barely skated by. Like they won by like 3 points, and like it came down to like the last drive in the fourth quarter and a BS targeting call. And
it feels dirty. Like it feels wrong that Texas could just like, we beat Iowa State. I'm like, Iowa State wasn't nothing last year or this year. Like, there's a coach that really missed his window. Like, Matt Campbell was like, he was hot for a minute. And was like, man, he had an opportunity to really cash in. He was on that I am loyal stuff and that loyalty stuff. How's that sitting right now? He probably could have had the Tennessee job. He could have had multiple jobs. I know that he could have had the South Carolina job too.
Yeah.
He was like, no, I'm just gonna stay here and build it and build it and blah, 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 blah. And how's that going for you?
Right.
That you know. So Quinn Ewers, 19 of 49, 319 yards, 2 touchdowns and 3 picks. Yeah. And when I say he looked bad, considering that he threw 49 times, that's a lot. It's still, people think that he's been around for a long time. He's been talked about for a long time because he was such a highly rated recruit.
Yeah.
He's still only his first year starting. Yeah. And he transferred in this year, remember. So it's like, this is his first time going on the road in a hostile environment. And he threw the ball like almost 50 times. That's a lot. And the 3 pick, everything was just inaccurate. Like everything was just high, just hanging dudes out to that. A couple hospital balls in there for real. Bijan Robinson is really that dude. I feel bad that he's not getting talked about enough.
Right.
He was at 24 carries for 140 yards in this game and a touchdown. He is 6th in the nation in rushing yards, and just feel like he's not getting the credit that he deserves. But big up to Spencer Sanders. Spencer Sanders is a quarterback from Oklahoma. 34 of 57. He threw the ball damn near 60 times.
Yeah.
And for 391 yards and 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, and they pulled it out. And honestly, it was the picks. It was the picks that did it.
Yeah.
It was the picks that did it. It is really a shame. Well, not really, because it's honestly great for us. Great. Miami and Texas, by God, keep doing what you're doing. It really, really makes things easy for us.
Like, really puts a smile on my face,
yeah,
you know?
What was it? Okay, so the last game we wanted to hit up was
LSU Ole Miss.
Yes, sir.
So Jaden Daniels absolutely killed it in the air and on the ground.
Monster. With
248 yards and 2 touchdowns in the pass, and 23 carries for 121 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. So, Ole Miss had a lot of yards, but just weren't able to get in the end zone. Hence, they only had 20 points. Over 400 yards of offense, but just 3 touchdowns to show for it. Jackson Dart had 283 yards and a touchdown, and the best rusher had 111 yards, and their best receiver had 145 yards. So you look at those stats and think like, hey, they probably had touchdowns to go with it, and they probably had, a really great offensive performance, but, they just weren't able to punch it in the end zone. and that's what ultimately came to that. And
Yeah, this really came down to, it was just the Jaden Daniels show. It really, because I look at like those were like the passing. Ole Miss was higher in passing, but the thing is like the rushing. LSU 252 yards rushing to Ole Miss's 117. Ole Miss was running the ball pretty well coming into this game.
Yeah.
And it just came down that Jaden Daniels put down 100 yards rushing from the quarterback position. I don't know what you're supposed to do with that. I really don't.
Right.
And then also Ole Miss had 111 yards in had 111 yards in penalty. Sorry, decided to have a little, have a little magic for the show today. But that was really, Jaden Daniels is really trying to do the damn thing. Remember, he transferred from Arizona State, and he had to fight to get the starting job to begin with. And then he did that, and I think he's trying to put some numbers up. That dude's trying to go to the league, and he's trying to do the damn thing. And there's nothing to lose.
Yeah.
There's nothing to lose to him right now. But dude, like think about how many quarterbacks are coming out this year. And so you got Bryce Young, you got C.J. Stroud, you got Will Shipley, you got Hooker coming out. You got what's the dude? The dude from Georgia. What's his name?
Stetson Bennett.
Yeah, Stetson Bennett is also.
He will be eligible.
I'm sorry, I do it. Yeah.
To be, he will be done college football. I'll tell you that much.
Done college football. And there's a clipboard with his name on it somewhere.
Or a UPS truck, or whatever he decides to do,
or selling used cars, something along those lines,
or a McDonald's.
He's been there long. Yeah, he's been there long enough that I'm pretty sure he should have a master's degree by the time he leaves, or maybe even a doctorate. But he'll be a god in Georgia for as long. Whatever you do, sir. Stay in Georgia.
Yeah.
Stay in the state of Georgia. Never leave.
Yeah.
Because you'll be treated like a god forever because you won that really, really thirsty team for won them a national championship, and they'll probably put a statue of you outside in your honor.
For your mediocrity.
Yeah, a statue of mediocrity. They should literally call it the Stetson Bennett Participation Trophy. Every time you give the little kids a little trophy with like the base that don't even have a name on the bottom, we should call that a Stetson Bennett.
The statue shouldn't be him throwing the ball; it should be him handing it off.
He's like, what is this? This is Stetson Bennett handing the ball off to a bunch of stud running backs. That's what it is. And wait, we have a tight end dump. We also have a tight end dump. You see, it's not really caught back with it. It's more like a.
As you can see, check down champ. You know what I'm saying? But he did get us a national championship.
So ladies and gentlemen, and the award for the Stetson Bennett check down champion trophy goes to. All right, y'all. Had a good time. Take it easy.